At the downtown Austin law offices of Chamberlain McHaney, hobbyist orchid grower Lucy Newton brings gardening beauty indoors.
I love to bring the orchids to the office. It brings so much enjoyment to people when they see them. They're just so beautiful. I don't get to see them as much at home, so that is why I bring them to the office.
Originally from Miami, Lucy became the impromptu office orchid nurse thanks to her grandfather.
My grandfather loved orchids, and he had exotic orchids, and in Miami you can hang them in your yard. His love of orchids went down to my mother, and she loved orchids as well. And she knew the house that I was living in had a good window, and she said, please take these. These were popses. Please get them to bloom. And I said, well, Mom, I'll try. I've got a good window. So sure enough, I got 2 of them that she had from his service 15 years ago, and they're both blooming right now. I give a lot of advice to people.
How do you get them to bloom in the office?
The best way to get them to bloom, if they haven't bloomed already, is to put them in a office that has good sunlight.
Oh, okay.
Preferably the morning sun.
The morning sun is the best?
Mm-hmm. Now you can get, they do like the afternoon sun also.
Okay.
But I have seen more success with them blooming in the morning sunlight.
I like to have the orchid on my desk so that I can look at the beautiful petals as they come out. But should I put them in the window instead of having them exactly on my desk?
If they haven't bloomed yet, then definitely put them by the window so they will bloom.
Okay.
But if they are in this stage and they have a few bulbs that haven't opened yet,
okay,
this is okay.
Okay, to keep on the desk.
To keep on the desk,
all
yes.
Right.
They will open up. It just takes more sunlight to actually get the shoot to come out.
Do you know where Lucy got this plant right here? This beautiful, beautiful plant. Her husband picked it out from a garbage. I mean, he saw it just drooping and out of life and whatever, and he knew, just like I know, that his wife is a reconstructionist of plants. So he brought this plant home to Lucy, and Lucy worked on it. She cut the stalks down, and then she watered it, and she replanted it, and now look at it. I mean, that's beautiful.
People tend to throw these plants away when they don't bloom, and they don't want to wait for another bloom. So a lot of times they will ask me, will you take this because I just don't want it anymore, it's not blooming. So this one is losing its flowers. A lot of people don't want to clip the shoot off because they think it's still alive, and it really is. And if I cut it down to the bottom here, it will give the plant more energy so that it can bloom again. At home I use pruning shears, but in the office the scissors work just fine. And I cut it all the way down as far as I can without damaging the leaf and chop it off. I will go put this into the conference room where it gets more light. I've had friends that say, my blooms aren't lasting very long, and I said, when's the last time you watered it? About 2-3 weeks ago. I said, well, when they're blooming they need a little bit more water, so make sure you get it in there once a week. Water them once a week.
Okay.
And then you should have a bloom that lasts a little bit longer.
I have an office true confession about this orchid plant right here. You can see it doesn't look too happy. What I did was I repotted it. And when I repotted it, I chose, unfortunately, this green pot that doesn't have any drainage, but I thought it had some drainage. So the water collected and collected and collected. How did I know that the plant was dying? Because that's what was happening. By the leaves. First, the lower leaves turned yellow, and then at the bottom, the leaves are kind of crinkly and they turn a darker color before they turn yellow. You can see up here, this bulb right here, it's turning red, so pretty soon it's gonna die off. Now, in comparison, this orchid should look exactly like this one. They're the exact same color, but as you can see, these blooms are just open, they look healthy. These blooms don't. Look at the leaves. These leaves are popping up. These leaves are drooping down, and you can just see the comparison between the two. Dark green, regular green, open, closed. That's my true confession, how I messed up my boss's plant. Thanks to advice from Lucy, this plant is coming back to life. And what she told me to do was cut off the brown and rotting roots. Then I put some new bark in there. And then the last thing I did was, because this pot doesn't have any drainage, I cut these holes in it so that it could get some air and the excess water would leave.
This one, it does not drain, so I put in about 1/4 to 1/2 of a cup, and I just don't overwater it because it does not like to be overwatered. The roots will rot. This one has a plastic cup. I take this one to the sink. I just run some water through it, let it drain, then I bring it back and I put it back in the cup. This one does have a drain hole. I just put about 1/4 to 1/2 a cup, and it drains out the sides.
Once a year, Lucy repots in an orchid potting mix that includes well-draining bark.
For the fertilizing, you mix 1 teaspoon of the fertilizer into a gallon of water, and I usually feed the orchids once a month. People, when they come in, are just very excited to see the orchids because they don't usually see orchids in office like this. They are so excited to see the beautiful different colors and the blooms on the orchids.